Romeo Doubs is a New England Patriot. According to all the insiders out there, signs a 4-year, $70 million deal. Hayden, maybe to surprise the many, this Patriots team just made the Super Bowl. But I think we can all look at the Patriots roster and say, okay, you need to surround Drake May with a few more skill position players.
Yep.
What does Doubs bring to this offense?
I'd put Romeo Doubs as like the most wide receiver 44 to ever walk the earth. He's like a very much solid wide receiver 2 in the prime of his career, who's gotten better and better and better. There's clearly a athletic kind of ceiling to his game, but he was also doing the most like thankless things in the receiver room, lots of X receiver snaps on the line of scrimmage, face a lot of press man coverage. And I thought when the Packers decided to stop running him way down the field and start getting him on more out-breaking, in-breaking curls, like those type of routes, his game got better. He's a really like physical player, not because he's so massive, but just because he's like willing to go do it. So I think he's going to help out the intermediate route tree the most here. And more or less, he's not going to be exactly what Steph Diggs was, but there's a lot of like that style game to what Steph Diggs was bringing to the Patriots. And for the money that they saved by releasing Steph Diggs, it pretty much goes right into Romeo Doubs. So not exactly the same player, but I think more or less a lot of the same overlap.
The running joke of Romeo Doubs and this Packers wide receiver room is we know how much LaFleur liked to rotate all of his pass catchers, except for Romeo Doubs. So it would be the rotation of Christian Watson, of Jaden Reed, of Matthew Golden, of Dontavian Wicks. But the guy that was always out there running routes, it was Romeo Doubs, for better or for worse. I think now in the Patriots, what we can kind of see with the snap counts, I mean, Keyshawn Boutte was going anywhere from about 70% to 85% of snaps out there. He's your vertical downfield playmaker, an emerging talent, I will continue to say. And then more of these intermediate end breakers, being in the right place at the right time over the heart of the defense. That's where Romeo Doubs comes to play. And then maybe you see a second-year leap and finally some playing time out of someone like Kyle Williams, and then Matt Collins just, doesn't wear shoes and boosts the ego and mood of everyone out there, and I guess that's your pass catching room here. It is interesting. Like, so often we talk about wide receivers and we want like playmakers. We want guys who, make people miss in a phone booth and win after the catch and go up and climb the ladder and all that type of stuff. And then Doubs is just like unglamorous, steady. And if he was 10% worse, then everyone would want him replaced. But since he does his job and he's a very solid player out there, then you know what you're going to get from him on any given drive and any given game on top of it.
Yeah, he's going to be like their kind of flanker guy, and Keyshawn is kind of like the vertical X receiver. Romeo Doubs, very versatile player. So I think it's going to probably be the same rotation that the Patriots were trotting out there. I mean, Steph Diggs wasn't a full-time player. They're going to get Pop Douglas in there. We mentioned Kyle Williams, Mack, and Keyshawn. So I think it's not going to be a 100% snap player for the Patriots here, and they're probably going to keep doing their thing with Josh McDaniels. I didn't want to call it just a couple reps though, just like kind of showcase exactly what Romeo Doubs is, because he gets this like unglamorous label, which is like true, but there is like some nuances to his game. Just against Riley Moss, press coverage, gets into the outside, stacks him, hits the out route. The ball's like over his head and he goes up and actually adjusts to the ball. I think he's pretty quarterback friendly in that, even though he's not like massive. Then another one against the Lions, he's running another out route. He goes on the inside, puts his head on the inside shoulder, sells that, then turns back and then comes back to the football for another clear win too. He can go up in the red zone and dunk on guys on occasion too. So it's not like the sexiest separation. He's not the fastest guy out there, but I do think that his route running has reached a point and his release game has reached a point where he's going to get open within like the first 2-3 seconds of the drop back. And that's really more or less what you need to do in the modern NFL. We're not seeing as many downfield passes nowadays, a lot of these type of throws. And that's why Romeo Doubs got the contract that he did.
Yeah. I mean, he easily led the Packers in terms of target percentage inside the red zone with 17 targets last year, 5 touchdowns on those, and even inside the 10-yard line, 8 targets, 4 receptions on those. Where would you like to see the Patriots continue to upgrade along their offense? Because they have basically a pay-to-play deal for Elijah Vera Tucker at left guard, with Jared Wilson now sliding over to center. For me, the answer is obvious. I am stunned that Josh McDaniels hasn't invested more in the tight end position.
Yep.
And hopefully we get that at some point this offseason.
Yeah, that Isaiah likely could have been a fit for them because, yeah, they have Hunter Henry pretty much on a 1-year expiring deal, and he is obviously getting up there in age. A little bit more juice out of that position would be really nice with Austin Hooper out of there. So, yeah, tight end in the draft, there's a lot of them. Like, there's a lot of fun options in the draft. I'm not sure if there's one exactly sitting around at 31st overall, but second, third rounders, we'll get to all those guys. Did want to call out that AVT signing, though. That was, to me, one of the best signings there is. If you look at like the top of the guard market, and we'll throw in center with Linderbaum too, we're talking about $27 million in there. Elijah Vera Tucker only signed for $14 million. And the way they structured that, it's a lot of like per game bonuses where he actually has to be out there to even get that money. That's a long way off from the top of the market. And I do think Elijah Vera Tucker, if he can come back from the torn triceps here, I do think like that would be saving like $10 million off of what his potential is. And I think that's really good business.
So a couple more details are coming in here. Albert Breer is very close to this Patriots organization. Says it's 4 years, $68 million with a max value of $80 million. That leads me to this question. We just saw Wan'Dale Robinson sign 4 years, $70 million. Straight up, who would you rather have on your theoretical NFL team, Romeo Doubs or Wan'Dale Robinson?
It's Romeo Doubs for me. What about you?
I'm Romeo Doubs. I mean, they do different things. You could have a cop out and say all that, and they have different skills. But just, I think Romeo Doubs' skill set is more difficult to find. And I feel like it is easier to draft a talent like Wan'Dale Robinson each and every year.
Yeah, especially for the Patriots, they did need somebody to win that in that intermediate part of the field. And I think that they more or less have like the Pop Douglas if they need a slot guy. And then they already have two vertical guys in Kayshawn and Kyle Williams on the roster. And then whatever the hell we're talking about with Matt Collins. So I think Romeo Doubs slides in nicely.
Are you leaving the light on for Kyle Williams in 2026?
He's going to be a part-time player, but I'm hoping that he's like, he averages 10.5 yards per target and we get 4 or 5 touchdowns out of him. And they're really exciting, but he just keeps getting kind of cucked. So we'll see.
Okay. I have to ask you about the Green Bay Packers end of this. There was no inkling that Romeo Doubs would re-sign with the Packers. They just seemingly were going to let him go no matter what. Again, if you look at the snap counts, it's actually hilarious because he's up there in the 70 to 90% range. Mm-hmm. And then again, you have Matthew Golden at 50%, Dontavian Wicks, 50%, Jane Reed dealing with an injury, 50 to 60%, Malik Heath, Savion Williams. And then I think the big winner, Hayden, is Christian Watson here, who used to be kind of a part of that rotation. And then once he returned to the field in week 8 and then earned like a real full-time role back in week 10, he was easily their best wide receiver.
Yeah, he was completely balling. They're going to get Tucker Kraft hopefully back from torn ACL early on in the season, but Christian Watson's going to have a normal offseason for the first time in quite a while, and he was really, really good. Yeah, knock on wood. But I think that like the real winner here is like Matthew Golden. Like they're actually going to get him out there a little bit. And I thought Matthew Golden was missed on a couple downfield shots that really would have changed like the narratives around his rookie season. So they have to like figure out exactly what they want to do with Matthew Golden. A lot of vertical routes. As a rookie, he kind of was doing a little bit more than that on the Texas film. So they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do in the intermediate game. Maybe Dontavian Wicks plays a little bit more, but I think this is them letting go of Romeo Doubs. I think it's probably just like an internal better feeling about Matthew Golden than what the Dynasty nerds think about him right now.
At the same time, I don't think Matthew Golden was running a lot of the same routes that Romeo Doubs did this past season. So,
agree. I think he can though, but we'll see.
We will definitely be speaking about Matthew Golden a lot when we get to the second year wide receiver video here on the channel. So all of you out there, hit that subscribe button, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and watch another video on the channel before you get out of here. See ya.